Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Living Your Purpose. If you are here live, thank you so much. We're going to have an interesting time. And if you happen to be watching or listening to a replay on YouTube or SoundCloud, thank you so much for joining. We really, really appreciate you tuning in. And try to catch us live. We're here every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can see us on our show, on our website at lypshow.com. Okay, all that is out of the way. My name is Danielle Anderson, also known as Danielle the VP. I'm an entrepreneur, interfaith minister, speaker, spiritual counselor, coach, and it is my purpose to help people to look good, feel good, find, and walk in their own purpose. And my co-host, as always.
Yes, as always, SJ from Inner Soul Development. That's right, Inner Soul Development. I'm a personal life coach, transformational speaker. What I do is I help you get off your routine, your daily routine, take you off course to your greater self. I'll make sure that you understand that life is to be controlled and that life should not, will not, and won't control you. Life is beautiful. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today is the topic, which is a deep topic for some, and maybe for some it's not, is discipline. Discipline of children in America. Has it gone too far, or is it not gone far enough? Okay. So this is a great topic. So guys, we do have the love seat. So if you do want to join into the conversation, you definitely can. Okay. So once again, discipline in America. Is it not enough, or has it gone too far? Now, what I will be doing is I will be presenting to you a quick video. Now, while I do this video, I just want to let you know that, why are we talking about discipline in America under Living Your Purpose? Well, a lot of people who want to live in their purpose, they may have kids, and a lot of them have families and stuff like that. So you want to try to raise them correctly in America. So certain topics that deal with America and American culture, or what's going on in America, does apply to you living your purpose, because you apparently have to be that example, as they say. Okay, so that's why we're going to be talking about these type of topics, because it does help you, and also raising or your children, or bringing them up into what you need to do as far as helping them with your purpose, living your purpose. So it does relate. Okay, so what I will be doing is, like I said, a quick video, and I want you guys to really dig in deep and give your feedback, because, like I said, this is not a presentation. We want feedback both and forth. Back and forth. That's why we have a love seat. Okay, so I'm going to do the video. And
before you
want to say
video,
yes,
real quick, I want to let people know, if you have not seen this video, obviously he hasn't said what it is, but just for people who may be more sensitive, it gets graphic.
Yes.
It's pretty graphic. I mean, it's not sexually related, but it does have violence in it, and it can be graphic if you have small children. It might be a good idea to just not have them watch this part of the program. And so watch at your own
risk,
discretion.
Right? Discretion. Okay, but what's so funny is that it does prove a point. Okay, and there's both, and the reason why I also did this is because I put it on Facebook, right? As a video, and what I thought I was going to get was a landslide of comments saying it's wrong. However, I didn't. I got a lot of mixed messages from different people in the comments. So that's why I wanted to bring this across to you guys, our Living Your Purpose family, and basically get your opinion as far as what's going on. So I'm going to do the video, and then we will discuss right after. Okay? Let me know if you can see the video clear, because it is on the other phone. Okay? All right, here we go. Wait. All right, here we go. 1, 2, and 3.
Yo. All right, Facebook world. So my son, 17 years old, decides he wants to go to school and cut up like he ain't got to come home and see me. Today, he walked out of the teacher's class, and granted, I know teachers be fucked up, so I let him know he could walk out of class, but call me so I'm on your side. All day went by, he didn't call. So now it's discipline time, because he didn't do what I told him to do. He chooses to do what he wants to do. Now, for y'all that got kids, teenagers, girls, I don't know. I got sons, and I treat them like men, and he gonna get this work like a young man, which is twofold. Discipline for not following my directions. Secondly, teach him how to defend himself. Come on, put them gloves on, let's go. Let's go. Come on. You want to cut up in school? This is what you got to deal with. Come on. Let's go. Yeah, you got to watch. You can't come in there with your eyes closed. You know that. I done told you that. That's what the jab for. The jab is to hide the punch. Come on. Stop acting stupid. You know what to do here. Yeah, you want to play around in school? Niggas don't have to come and get this. They don't have to come and get this one, do they? You ain't his blood. Why? Your friends don't see you when you cut down. When you gotta come home and deal with boss, do it. Do it. They don't see that, do they? But you do, don't you? Look at you, look at you. You don't be worried about this when you cutting up, do you? Oh, no, you don't. Oh, yeah, that one hurt good. That's a jab. That one hurt good. I know it did good. You want to keep playing around? So you a young man, I ain't whooping you with no kind of nigga. He teaches you how to learn. Come on. Yeah, I ain't worried about blood. I ain't worried about blood. Look at the walls. Yeah, yeah. They don't see this in school, do they? Oh, when you go in there, you want to cut up and disrespect and talk shit to teachers. They gotta come home to that. You got some reason in there, don't you? Clean yourself up. I'm not crying about this school, and you know this. I done told you. Don't be crying. You don't be crying when you in there talking shit to them teachers and being disrespectful, do you? No, you don't. That's how you discipline a teenager. You don't get that belt and whoop them. You give them a chance because there may be some hidden aggression behind it. Give him a chance to shoot back. Let him shoot how he feels. He feel like he want to cut up in school. He know the consequences. So he deal with me when he get home. And that's what it is. Teenage discipline 101. And that wasn't even the first round. Talk to him, Tank. You like showing off for everybody. Let's take this to school. Tell him, hey, I cut up in school. My dad don't play that shit. I don't get butt whoopings. We put on gloves. Let him know. Let him know. You reeking like a motherfucker, right? Yeah, you want to go back to school? Cut up some more? Huh? Tell your friends who you cut up for today. Let them know. Nicole, Natalie, hey, y'all. This what happened when I cut up with y'all. Hey, let them know. Let them know. Hey. Tell your teacher you sorry. I'm sorry. We're getting up and walking out of the class. What's wrong with you, boy? Play them games. You already know. Clean all this blood up. Go get that shampoo. And you got a report card coming. That report card better be golden. Signing out.
Okay, so that was the video. Okay, so it may be for some very graphic, but this is what's going on in America now. Is it good? Is it going too far? a lot of people have, it's a 50-50, actually it's actually a 50-50, to tell you the truth, spectrum on both sides. I mean, it's definitely something that people disagree with, but then a lot of people believe that it is necessary, especially when you're raising Black young men. So, there was a football, not coach, but a player that got suspended for whipping his 4-year-old child. It's since been overturned, but he did get indicted for child, I think it was actually child abuse or child endangerment, one of the two. But he did whip his 4-year-old child, and the reason being is because the child showed marks, and so therefore they thought it was going too far. Now, what do you feel about that, Danielle? Because you're looking like
it hurts. It hurts.
Okay, why?
With you, it hurts. And let me tell you why. I understand the father's point of view and what he's trying to do, but if you're going to box, go to a gym, put on a helmet, protect. You know what I mean? Teach him how to box. Teach him how to fight. Have to defend himself, to protect himself, to be strong, and all of those things.
Right.
Not in the house with nothing to protect him but his head. And he's doing it from a place of aggression. You know what I mean? His father is upset because, the child acted up. So he did.
See,
my opinion is
there is a great.
Now listen,
okay.
I will tell you this.
No.
There's a part of me that said, boy, you need to hold your hands up, cover your face. Because I was taught to box when I was a child. Right. So, don't let your father hit you in the face. He's doing it on purpose. Duck, Bob, do something.
Right.
He took it. So,
yes.
I mean, the inside of me is like, it's conflicted. Like I said, right. I understand the discipline. I understand sometimes pain is a good motivator. Well, not good, but it's effective in some cases. And I understand right. Fear in some cases is very effective in turning a behavior around. However, I think that in this particular case, he went about it the wrong way. And I will say this. I want to say, for the sake of people who may be watching or listening and they don't know that much about it, that that family is actually from the area where I am from. And it was across the local news that after this video went viral, in a matter of a day or two, the father did end up, the child was removed from the home, and the father turned himself in because he did realize that he probably went too far, and he got some charges for assault and abuse and all of that.
Yes, so it went way far.
It went too far.
Right, but let me tell you. Let me show you
kids in the face. I can't.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But okay, there's a difference. You gotta think about it. There's a difference when it comes to raising Black families, men, and then versus raising women. And a lot of parents are coming from single parent homes. So to raise up a boy, and you're a mom and you have like 3 boys. I mean, the discipline is going to be a little different when it comes to you hitting your children, it's going to be slightly different. It's going to be slightly different. Okay.
It's slightly different only because I'm not physically built like their father.
Right. So I think the discipline as far as a father is going to be different, right?
I don't want to say what I do or have done with my children, particularly this teenager that's in the house. Because I don't want it to be about parenting styles and all of that. But my son looks me in the face. He's tall. He's almost standing over me. So if he gets to a point where he feels like he's bigger than me and he can take me when he's upset, he's going to get corrected on that. Let me just put it that way. He's going to get corrected.
Okay.
And you know, I understand it. I'm from old school, you know, we're spankers in our family,
She said we're
so
spankers.
we're spankers. Plain and simple. We spank, we hit, we don't punch our kids in the face. But sometimes, like I said, pain is a motivator for change sometimes, in extreme cases. But it's just, in that instance, I just think it was done wrong. But that's, again,
Really?
that's my opinion. I think so. I think he did
Okay.
wrong. I don't care,
Okay.
because
Okay.
I have 3 boys and 2 girls. Yeah, you have to teach them different things, but you don't have to
Hmm.
treat them necessarily differently. Like I said, I was taught to box. We had 3 granddaughters and 1 grandson. We all were taught how to fight
Wow.
because we had to learn how to defend ourselves, and it
Right.
helped. And you know what's funny about that? I've never been in a fight in my life.
Right.
I've never had to use it because we were also taught how to behave, how to avoid conflict. But sometimes it comes, and so we know what to do in case. But we've always been able to resolve that,
Right.
or at least in my case.
Now since that has come out, it says that but many American parents still insist spanking does serve a purpose. And I thank you everybody for coming in, those who are joining. It says that that in 2012, a national survey conducted that 77% of men and 65% of women agreed that a child sometimes needs a good hard spanking. It says that many blacks are defending this video, apparently, with arguments that a good whipping is love and not abuse, and that it keeps children in line and hopefully safe from the wrath of the police or the prison system. So in that case, they are saying that, if it wasn't on Facebook, if he didn't put it on Facebook or didn't put it where it was viral, that it would been considered a good whooping for being AT&T love you, Queen. That it is a good whipping. So if it wasn't on national TV, it would have been just good hard discipline. Now, these are the comments that I got from the video that I posted. It says that if all parents were to apply some of the sort of discipline to our young offspring, you might find more manageable children. I see children running amok all the time. My mother would have broke me off a good spanking if I would dare to talk back to my teacher or skip school. Mm-hmm. So then they said that a lot of them said that hitting a child will get you nowhere. It's all about how you talk to them. Because if you hit and scream at them, they are just going to learn that hitting and screaming is okay. If an adult doesn't show a good example as to how to act as a human being, then of course their children are going to run amok and miss school or skip school in this sense. So like I said, it's not 100% landslide when it comes to this video. A lot of them feel like it was considered good hard discipline, and spanking as harsh as it was. Number one, male father. Number two, male son. It wasn't a mother doing it. It was a father. And sometimes fathers have to be as strict to their sons to show them what it is that they could be facing if they do something different in the world.
I don't even think it necessarily has to be a father-son thing. I think it's a parent-child thing. You have to learn early that actions have consequences, and they could be positive or negative. If parents put rules and regulations and guidelines in place in order to protect their children from things that could harm them. For instance, don't touch the stove. It's hot. Don't touch the stove. Don't touch the stove. You say it over and over, don't touch the stove, to a small child. You might pop them one time and they'll say, ow, and they won't touch the stove, but then they forget. And then they touch the stove when it's on and they burn themselves. See, mommy said, don't touch the stove. So, something like that. So you cut up like that. Okay, I'll give you an example of a child and a parent situation.
Okay.
there is a kid who's about my son's age, a little bit older, friend of mine's son. He got caught up trying to steal something from a store. He got real lucky. Okay. They didn't press charges. He didn't have to get in handcuffs or anything like that. She picked him up and whooped his tail. And this child has not had, I mean, he's like a good kid, but he keeps like slipping up, messing with people that he shouldn't be dealing with and just following along. And I checked in with her about a week and a half ago, and I said, so how's the boy doing? Is he still cutting up? She said, no. He said, and this is my godson. So I called and I said, sorry. I don't want to say his name. So I called him by his nickname. I said, so what's up? Heard you got into some trouble. You still messing around with those people? He said, no, ma'am.
Exactly.
After that, he said, after that belt, I have no problems. Straight A's, everything, no problems, not doing it again. Because it had been a while since he had been physically disciplined or corrected, right? And my girlfriend, she was like, I don't know what to do with this child. I was like, when's the last time he had a good beat? I said, he hasn't needed one in like 4 years. All right, well, maybe he needs to be reminded. I didn't tell her to beat her child, but she was like trying to avoid doing it because he's an older child. He's like 16, and I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know. So in those type of situations, especially when you're from different cultures, it's not uncommon, you know, especially brown people of all different backgrounds. Brown people from all different backgrounds know something is going to hit your body if you mess up.
Right.
You know, if it's my Mexican friends are always talking about having got the chanclas, the sandals, mamas and grandmama's sandals, get them on the backside. Parents, it's belt, extension cord, shoe, whatever they can reach. You know, Indian parents, Asian parents, they use canes or whatever. It's not an uncommon thing to use physical force as a part of punishment and disciplining your child. Dania said, spanking isn't a problem, abuse is the issue. And the question though is, where is the line? Where is the line?
Where is the line?
That chancla, yeah, there is a line.
Where is the line?
It's very fine. You can't always see it.
Because when I was growing up, I got whooped with belts, whatever my mom could get her hands on, because at that time she was a single parent mom and she was raising 3 people. So, you know, the styles was different, you know, but, you know, it's getting to the point where now parents can't even discipline their children anymore, or because they're going to jail. It's going to jail, or the you know, it's more of, you know, it's on the child side. That's why I really feel like with this video, I was kind of conflicted. Now, for those who are just joining us, this is Living Your Purpose. We do this every day. I mean, every day. I wish we
every
do every day. Every
That'd
Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What we're talking about today is discipline in America. Has it gone too far, or is it not good? It has not gone far enough. My name is SJ, of course, from Inner Soul Development. I'm a personal life coach and transformational speaker. And on the left of me is my lovely co-host.
Hello. I am Danielle Anderson, also known as Danielle the VP. I'm an entrepreneur, interfaith minister, speaker, counselor, coach, and many, many, many other things. And it is my purpose to help people to look good, feel good, find and walk in their own purpose. And yeah, this topic is controversial.
Very controversial.
I got nervous when SJ told me what he wanted to talk about this week.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a thing that needs to be addressed. Exactly. I think it's good to have conversations. It should prompt some interesting things. I'm going to take this from a different angle also. Now, I was lucky enough to have both of my parents in the home. They were married.
Okay.
And all of that good stuff. It was me and my sister. And we got spanked. We got timeout. My mom was very creative sometimes, you know, when we said the bad words, we got the soap in the mouth and all of that type of stuff. My dad, though, never ever spanked us. Never. He tried a couple of times and it failed. He failed miserably. The reason why, though, is because when he was a child, he was brutally abused. Like, it wasn't just, you know, go get a switch or a belt. It was to the point, he was beaten to the point where he would get in a tub and there would be blood.
Wow.
You know, it was really bad. So he wasn't opposed to my mom spanking us. He just didn't want to have to be the one to do it because he didn't know how far he could go or if we could go. Plus, we were girls. So he was nervous about hurting us as girls, and I understand that. But he tried, and it didn't work. And I think what my sister and I found out is if we could make Daddy laugh, then he would just be like, go somewhere, and then tell our mom that we messed up. We could get away with it. But it never really, like, he couldn't even hit my sister on the hand one time. So yeah, because it was a really damaging thing for him. And so I always keep that in mind when trying to when I'm disciplining my children or giving advice to someone else. I can't tell you how to do it or how not to do it. My best advice, though, is however you choose to do it, make sure you're not damaging. Like, if you're not scarring them, physically scarring them,
that could be difficult. That could be hard because
because like somebody might say,
you could hit
you
somebody
want to put
and
your
get a
hand
bruise
on the stove. Yeah, but a bruise heals. Bruises heal over time. A scratch heals, but a burn doesn't. It'll heal, but it scars.
I understand that. Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you hit someone with a belt to the point where it breaks skin, that's gonna scar, and it's not just a physical scar. So yeah, I appreciate my my whoopings, but you know what? I was more afraid of that chair that my mom put me in than the belt, because it was a psychological thing. I know that I'm gonna get hit and it's gonna hurt, but eventually that pain goes away. Just don't cut up. She won't do it anymore.
Right.
But for some reason, when she told me to sit in a chair and be still for 5 minutes, I couldn't do it. And it messed me up because I was a hyper kid. So it's more about knowing what the strengths and weaknesses are of yourself and your child and what's appropriate.
Okay. There is another comment that I wanted to mention. One of the person says, I got spanked all the time as a kid with a belt. And I relate because I got spanked with a belt too. I had friends whose parents used a switch, which I went through that as well. A small branch off a tree. I didn't do all that.
That's what a switch is, basically.
Okay. So Mom thought that was going to a bit too far, but a hand or a belt, sure, all the time. I don't feel I was abused. When I was a kid, that was called discipline. We even got spanked at school, which I do remember that as well. And most kids, if you got spanked at school, they could expect another spanking when they got home. I don't see why people think this abuse. Too many people want to be buddies with their kids. Too many people look the other way when their kids do wrong, and then they whine and complain when they're in jail or they're doing something they know they're not supposed to do. I never heard my mom say that because she knew exactly what to do. Bring me my belt. So there is another thing. Too many parents want to be buddies with their children, which is really, really interesting because a lot of that's going on. And I do see the disrespect with parents. I see a disrespect all the time. Parents getting disrespected left and right, and they're afraid to touch their child because they're afraid that they may go to jail, or they may be the child may be taken out the home, ACS, or whatever the case may be. But when I looked at that video, and it really is different when it comes to parenting boys. It's really different. And so when I saw that video, and remind you that's supposed to be a boxing, they all love boxing over there, of course. It wasn't like he put the fist, his actual fist to his face, and like they both were protected with the gloves, and I feel like, I feel discipline is very necessary. I mean, even the Bible says, that, spare the rod, spoil the child. Mm-hmm. So at what point does the discipline go too far? Where is that where is that line? It's a very thin line, because parents should be able to correct their children.
Let me say something about that Bible verse, because I think that some people take that and use it too far. Mm-hmm. When they're speaking of a rod, they're talking about a shepherd's rod, right? And if you are a shepherd and you keep sheep or you keep animals, in the old days you had that big old rod, mm-hmm. Or the crook, mm-hmm. and that's basically to keep them in. If you're moving them from the pen to the pasture, then you kind of got to stay on the end on one side and knock them back if they stray a little bit, knock them back this way. But you're not beating sheep with that thing. You're mm-hmm. just directing them. You're mm-hmm. You're using that thing to push them into the right direction. I'm not saying that you can't use a little force on them, but don't take that too far. It doesn't mean beat the crap out of a kid with a rod. It means point them in the right direction. Use that tool, whatever that tool of discipline is for you, to direct your child. And again, it's about balance. I don't want to say I'm friends with my children. I definitely am not. I'm friendly with my children. We have fun. We have a good time. But they know if something comes out of their mouth a little bit wrong, like they done got too comfortable, I'll stop and give them that mommy death stare mm-hmm. that every mom has, and they're like, oh, and they switch up real quick. Mm-hmm. What was that you just said? I'm sorry. Maybe you forgot. Then he's like, and my son has actually done this. He said, I forgot you were my mom for a second. Sorry. And he'll catch himself before I have a chance to even get good into the stare. So, right. And it's okay to be able to have a good relationship, a good communication with your children. That's necessary. And it's fine to have fun with your kids. It's fine to play and joke around, but you have to know where that line is.
Right.
And there's so it's like sometimes it's one extreme to the next. It's either you're like, oh, that's my best friend. They spoil, they get everything they want, because I want my kid to have more than what I had. I don't want my kid to go through the things that I went through, because maybe that kid was, that parent was abused or felt that they were mistreated and they didn't want to do the same to their child. But because you're not doing anything that your parents did, then later on your kid gets messed up, is running around wild and all this kind of stuff, and you don't know what happened.
Right, but some children you can talk to. Some children you just can't. There's some children that you can talk to. True. No, but listen, some kids you can say, you can look at them in his face and give them that death stare and they could be corrected. I'm not going to do it no more. But then mm-hmm. you got some that you look at that death stare and there's not enough. There's some children that you could sit, like my sister, right? She was a straight A student. She didn't like to get hit because both of her other siblings was getting beat all the time. I was. So
like, not me.
Yeah, she said not me. So what I'm saying to you is that with my sister, she was able to you could actually talk to her, say, you're embarrassing me, you're disappointing me, using all those words, and she could be like, I'm good. I don't want to, embarrass my mom, or I don't want to, but then you have those boys who talking is not enough. Like, you could talk till your ears are numb, but you just need that discipline with those boys, because disciplining boys are different. They're a whole lot different than disciplining girls. So, I'm not saying that you got to knock a boy out the box, but it's going to be more aggressive than dealing with women, because you can hit a little girl. She's like, she cries, whatever. She feels embarrassed. But, with boys, they sometimes they test you. They will go to the point of testing you.
Do you think a girl is not going to test somebody?
Oh, but it's going to be different, though, in a different way. In a different way.
Yeah, you get teeth sucking and eye rolling and all of this.
Exactly.
If you think that a person is not going to want to smack somebody's head off their neck, I digress.
Right.
But you know, it's really interesting. Here's the thing: it's hard to say. We had a comment. Society has parameters as to what you can and cannot do, but there has to be consequences for bad behavior.
Absolutely.
And some things work for some people. Some things work for others. There is no rule. There's no standard to use.
There will be now, because people are going to get removed from the home.
You would think that is the case, but I mean that's already the case. The only reason why it hasn't been done before is because nobody thought to call the police in the first place. Right. So
but think about it. Is it really child abuse? Was that really child abuse?
I think he went too far. Now listen, I don't believe that abuse.
He's a boy.
No, I don't care. Listen, you hit a person in the face, it's assault. That's the law. He assaulted his child. If he had pads, if you want to box, like I said, if you want to box, boxers have gloves and they have helmets. They have mouth guards. He could have knocked his son's tooth out. Is it still, it's just discipline because he's a boy? No. You're not supposed to be knocking people's teeth out.
All right, but what if he did him in the face? What if he hit him? What was his body blows? What was his body blows?
What if he passed out?
Exactly. With that. All right. So what I'm saying is,
what if he has brain damage later because he took them blows to the head? You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is I don't necessarily disagree with his method or his tactic. I think that he executed it, and it went too far in the execution. Maybe he could have pulled back. Maybe he could have pulled a little bit of his punches when he was going for his face. Do you know what I'm saying? That can cause serious brain damage. All I'm saying, I'm not here to judge one person based on one action. We're here to talk about the whole, of society. And the problem with that is every situation is different. Every parent, every household is different. Every circumstance is different. Every child is different. You could have 3-4 kids in a house, but you can't. I mean, you could all whip them all for every time any one of them does anything wrong, or you can choose to figure out what's going to affect this child the most. Not necessarily this one. One of them act up, all of them get whoopings because they were all in the same place. Or does the punishment fit the crime for that individual child? Because you have one kid that may not even give a damn about getting hit because they're just built tough like that. They don't care. They'll take it. They might shed a little tear and then they'll go back to doing whatever they wanted to do because it didn't bother them that much. Exactly. In that case, then let's take away the video games on top of your whooping, because now you can't run away and play. You can't. You know what I'm saying? It's discipline. The word discipline is actually confused a lot of times with punishment. Punishment is a part of discipline, right? The word discipline means practice. When you put into practice certain behaviors, consequences for actions, reward for good behavior, punishment for bad behavior, all of that is part of discipline. But what in the middle of it, it's not do what I tell you to do, and if you don't do it, then you get a whooping. That's not discipline. That's a mess is what it is. But in between, are you telling the children why? Why are you not? Why don't you do that? Why do we have these rules? Why do I have to get in trouble because I don't want to do that thing? Because when you go out in the real world, you can get in trouble for doing what you want to do if you don't follow the rules, right? So you have to make sure that you're explaining and teaching in the midst of, before, after, and during the whoopings or whatever method of discipline or of punishment that you choose. You have to make sure that they understand why, or they're going to keep on doing it, right?
Right.
So
Well, I think that the video was very clear as to why he did it. I mean, he
he
definitely
did say
said
it.
that he was very he cut class. He want to talk back to his teacher. He wants to be all good under the girls and make him think that he's like, built like he doesn't care and that he's able to do what he wants to do in class. Because when you go and you take your children to a school, you're expecting them to be educated.
Right.
You're not expecting them to skip school. You're not expecting them to cut out. You're not expecting them to disrespect teachers. So, I think that I think discipline, no matter what style it is, I don't think it should be on national. I don't think it should be on or taped or videotaped. That's very embarrassing. However, if it wasn't on Facebook and it didn't go viral, it would be considered his style of whooping his child. You know what I'm saying?
But
and I think that being that it went viral, it had all these perspectives, and the landslide was 90. Well, I would say 65% no, and like the rest, yes, it was a good thing. So I think that it was, it shouldn't have been on Facebook, or it shouldn't have been on video. Period.
So you're stepping into very scary territory when you say that. I know now listen, I know what you mean. But what if he had done more damage to his child than he did? And it wasn't on video.
Okay, but now check this out.
No, wait.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, okay. He did it. The reason why he taped it was for a reason. Now I bet you, because he got his butt whooped, he took all them shots, right? And because it's on video and it's all over the world now, he damn sure ain't cutting class again. I promise you that.
He gonna be there early.
He gonna be on early, straight A's, everything, extra credit. He gonna be in AP classes. He's taking college courses in the summer. Okay, all right. Now listen, but as I know I struggle because I don't appreciate being embarrassed either. But the thing is, no, it shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't record your discipline. That's just, there's no reason for that. Unless now I've seen some way. You shouldn't record a beating or a whooping or a spanking or whatever. I have seen some viral videos of children being punished.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
Where they're on video, they're on their Facebook page, and I'm saying, now, okay, hold up this sign, read this, and what happened, and what did you say, and all of that, because embarrassment is also a tool for. So what he did was he physically hurt his child, and he embarrassed him. I know that boy is not going to cut up for his father or anybody else, wherever he happens to be in care of. But
it's going to be yes, ma'am, no, ma'am.
Yes, sir, no, sir. Way. All of it. But again, like I said, how you take care of your business in your house should be your business. But you have to be mindful. Again, there is a very, very fine line between punishment and abuse when you're using physical matters. Physical, what's the word? Force. When you're using force, it's a very fine line. Fine line.
I've seen the cultures in our culture where beating is common, and then you have other cultures, European cultures, where they feel like timeout or talking to the children works. But
I love how you said European. I know Brits, I know Scots, I know Irishmen. All of them got whooped. I don't want to hear it. It's all across the board.
There's certain ones, right?
I think that's a uniquely American way of going about it, to be honest.
Right. Because I know in this culture, like the African American culture, some of them we were raised on beating. All right, on beating or spanking. But there are those that don't spank their children and say time out, or say, or give them a talk to, and they are being a restriction, and the children are talking back, like talking back to like you don't even know who the child or who the mother or who the parent or who the child is because of how they talk back to each other. And sometimes I'll be like, why don't you, has he ever or has she ever got pow? And they're like, and they'll say, what?
No. What?
Are you? That is abuse. You understand what I'm saying? And they'll say, because when I was a child, I got whooped out, and I would never hit my child because I understand the experience of it. No. I believe that discipline is necessary. Okay? I don't say knock the child to the canvas like it's like a Mayweather fight, but I believe that spanking is necessary, and that each style is different for women and for men, right? And what's going on, Xanadu? And it is a fine line. Some people say you could discipline in anger and discipline in love. So let me know what discipline in love is.
Discipline in love is like, okay, listen, I told you not to do that. I told you if you did that, then you were going to get a spanking. Okay, so now it's time for you to get a spanking, period. Now, the reason why you don't do this is because of this, that, and the other. And you whoop their butt. And you wipe the face and they send them to bed or whatever. But that's discipline in love because that shows consistency, follow through, and integrity, right? If a child does something wrong and you're mad about the thing that they did, if they broke something or they broke the rules or whatever, but you're still like passionately heated about the thing, you can lose your mind. I've heard parents say, I blacked out, I saw red, I didn't know what I was doing. That's when it's dangerous because and I've had that happen to me because I was so angry. I had to have my brother-in-law pull me off of my child. And that's when I realized, okay, he was only 5. I can't do that. You cannot do that. So, I was working in anger. I didn't have a chance. I didn't give myself a chance to calm down, analyze the situation, and say, come here and explain what's going on. That was anger. That was anger. That was not okay.
Okay.
It was. I would not say that it was abuse because I looked at him afterwards. My baby's light skin. He did have marks, but he wasn't bleeding. So after he had calmed down and everything, and I talked to him and I explained to him what was wrong with what just happened. And he was like, I'm sorry, mommy. And I didn't have that problem. I didn't have that problem from him again. So luckily somebody was able to stop me from my anger, but he still got the point of why he got beat when he did. The problem
but let me ask you a question. You just said, right?
Yeah.
That what if we're just talking, for those who just joined us, we had a video of the father who boxed his child and now is indicted and all this other crap. And the child is removed from the home. The video that went viral. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm not going to play it again, but you could definitely get the replay. But you just said that, how do you know that the kid could have got brain damage or whatever the case may be, right?
I didn't punch him in the head.
Okay, right? It's just like what you said. So you said in your situation that you knew that you bruised your child, but he wasn't bleeding, so you knew he was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now we all know how far to go with our kids. This is what I'm saying to you. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's gotten boxed before. We don't know what happened previous to that. Mm-hmm. So you know how long, what to go. Like my mom, she beat me, and sometimes really bad, but she knew how far to go. Parents know how far to go with their children.
If you're thinking with a clear head,
I'm not going to go this far. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. If you're thinking with a clear head, you do. This is why I said I had to have my brother-in-law pull me off of my child because I was not clear-headed. And I don't know how far I might have gone or how long it would have taken me to snap back into, so I've recognized that, before I have had anger issues, and I learned what I can't do is take out my aggression on my children. That is not okay ever. Some people are just angry. Some people are abusive. Some people are sick in the head. So it's difficult sometimes to regulate what you can and can't do, how much is too much, or, and sometimes, a child may have a problem that you don't even know. You know what I mean? And you're calling it discipline, but it's damaging them because they truly don't understand what's going on. So it's just, It's a
I mean,
touchy
he was
subject. I
all
really
right,
didn't want to
Zan.
talk about it. He was a teenager. He was
Yeah.
17 years old.
He was
Xanadu.
17 years old, right? He was
But
17 years old,
yeah,
and like I said, it's hard, especially when you. Now, I really feel so real bad for parents who don't have both households who don't have both parents in the home. I mean, there's a lot of single parent moms that have to raise up
that's true.
children
That's true.
and men. And so sometimes when you lose that sense, because remember, when you are a woman, you lose that sense of womanhood, or that sense of gracefulness, because you have kids now by yourself. The father's gone, right? Now you got to be a father and mother to the child, correct? Right? You got to be a father and mother to the child. So you have listen, you have added, right? You have added, listen to this, you have added on the aggression that you never normally would have to put on, because the father is gone. Like, say for instance, my mom, right?
Okay.
My mom and dad were together for a while, and then they got divorced. When they got divorced when I was young, right? Okay. My mom was the talker. My father was the hitter, backhand, right? Mm-hmm. My mother was always a talker. My mama was not built to beat. She was a talker, okay? She was very soft, and just, why? I love you kids. Why are you doing this to me? Now go in your room. That was her. When my father left, she became mother and father. So the attitude she added from out of nowhere, she had to build this other exterior of her, right? Of now she has to be able to take care of 3 kids and make sure that they're all in one place. And now she was no longer the talker, she was the beater. Do you see what I'm saying? So a part of her gracefulness was gone, because now she has to be the disciplinary too. And it wasn't part of her character. So she has to add that on to her. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's more stressful to women who are single or in single parent homes, when they have to deal with a lot of kids, and some boys and some girls. You understand what I'm saying?
I guess.
I feel sorry for them.
Don't feel sorry for them. That's a situation that happens to everybody. It's not a place for you to be sorry. It's for a single parent or children who grow up with single parents. It's not about being sorry. But like I said, I had both of my parents in the house, and my mom did everything. My dad did not spank us because of what he went through as a child, and we were girls, and he didn't know where the line was. He just didn't know where the line was, because he never saw the line. The line was so far behind his father that, he couldn't even see it. So like I said, he tried it a couple of times. It never worked, and mom took care of that. Mom was the talker. She was the timeouter. She was the write 100 times person. She was the one that said, go get your father's belt and bring it to me.
Oh, right. No, my mother wasn't like that. No.
She did all of the things. She did everything. So it depends on a person's personality. Everybody is different. And I think I'm a lot like my mom in that way. Nobody wants to beat their children. I don't think. If you do, then something is, we have some other problems. I don't think anybody enjoys beating their children. There are sometimes, I think, culturally where we, after it's done, sometimes we brag to our other parent friends how we whooped our kids, but I told him up. I've heard every culture do it. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. I've seen Caucasians do it, Mexicans have done it, the Black folk have done it, Indian parents have done it. They say, oh yeah, I pound just like that. We do it. I don't know why we do it, but we do it.
It's true.
But I think it's because you have to you show a measure of strength, because it hurts when I finally realized what my mom meant when she said, this hurts me more than it hurts you. Because that physical pain goes away. But the disappointment that you feel in having, been disobeyed or not being listened to, and then having to actually strike your child and cause them physical pain, that sticks with you. And, I don't know about anybody else here, But I have beat my child. I have cried before, knowing that it was coming. He cried. They cried in anticipation of it. Once I got myself together and I did what I had to do, then I walked away and I cried just as much as they were crying because it does hurt. It's not a good thing. It's not a happy feeling.
Right.
However,
Art says,
sorry, go ahead.
Art says self-awareness allows you to understand the people, how they perceive you, your attitude, and your response to them in the moment. Xanadu says it seems like it depends on the kid. The same parent could be able to handle multiple children in total different ways. Some kids don't necessarily need to have hands laid, but others do, and it is what it is. And I agree with that. That's what I'm saying, because you know why? Because now it's getting to the point where the question was, in America, is discipline, and that's is the discipline going too far, or is it not far enough? Now, whether it's the discipline is going far enough, I think discipline is needed. However, I don't feel like it should be to the point where the child, everything is called child abuse. And everything, and now this particular situation that we were talking with this guy in Virginia, he's now being indicted and probably going to have fines up to wazoo and felony charges and all this stuff like that. And the kid is removed from the home. See, I believe that discipline is a tool that parents use in order to straighten or keep their kids on the straight and narrow, because going outside of that person's house, there's danger. They could be getting into drugs. They can go to the prison system. I mean, you have a lot to do if you are a parent and have kids. You got to make sure that they're safe in the house and safe outside. And sometimes discipline is necessary. I don't necessarily believe that a person should be ACS or whatever child services should be called when it comes to your disciplinary style of beating your children. That's your child. You birthed that child. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's your right to be able to discipline the way that you want to. Now, is abuse wrong? Yes, but what is that line? That's what I'm asking. Because I got beat as a child with belts, switches, shoes, hangers,
hairbrushes, extension cords, all of those things.
And my mother used to tell me, "Take me to jail. I will call 911 for you."
Right, but who's gonna cook for you when I'm gone?
Exactly. So it's just
okay. It's 7:00.
Wow.
Thank goodness. Okay. It's after 7, actually.
It should always. Okay, now listen. If you guys want to get on the love seat, you can. Okay, we've always said that if you guys want to put your opinions on here, you can. The love seat is open. Xanadu says it should always be the case by case. We know, according to the government and public opinion, that it isn't, but it should be.
Agreed.
How do you guys feel about slamming videos?
Shaming.
We see so much. Shaming videos. So we see so much on social media nowadays. Is it more or less effective?
We talked about that a little bit just before you came in, Xanadu. When a kid acts up, then they will put them on blast. The parent will put them on blast on their own social media page and all that type of stuff. And I think that is creative. I appreciate the creativity, as long as, unlike the father that boxed his son till his face was bloody, because it's more of a psychological thing. Meaning, but you have to say the words yourself, the child who's doing something wrong. I did this, I did that, I'm only 13 years old. Because these kids are cutting up on the internet. Let the punishment fit the crime, right? Period. For real. If you're cutting up on the internet, you're 13 years old and you're acting like you're 18 or whatever, putting all this makeup on and posing all kinds of ways, talking to grown people, get on there and tell people who you are, what you've done, and all that type of stuff. I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. Perfectly fine with that. But I don't need to see somebody getting their butt whooped on. I don't need that.
And there's a lot. That was just one. That was just
right.
one.
Oh yeah,
I
have seen it before. I think that, again, embarrassment is effective in some cases, but it can be damaging with the internet being what it is. That doesn't go away.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away. Now, if you for a day have to walk around in school, you know, with a shirt on, I've seen this too, with a shirt on that says something about how I was acting, or somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I saw a father that got his son some Jordans, right? But he started messing up in school, like his grades started falling. So his father took a Sharpie and wrote all over his shoes something about his grades and all that type of stuff, fresh white ones too. And he had to walk around in school like that with those shoes on every day until he brought his grades back up. He says, I don't care about these shoes. Okay, I could buy you 100 pairs of shoes. That's not the point. You want it, but if you want to continue to get these type of things from me, then you need to get, you need to get your act together.
Right.
And this is a reminder for you and for all your little friends around you that you need to keep your stuff straight. And,
Yeah.
then when you bring your grades back up, you can get a fresh new pair of shoes. And I appreciate that. Creativity is key. Like, my uncle was great. He raised 3 daughters. And he was the one, how parents sometimes are like, don't be closing the doors in my house or don't lock a door in my house. Well, something happened. They got into an argument. My cousin slammed the door. My uncle didn't do no fussing. He didn't do no whooping. He just took the door off the hinges.
Wow.
You slam a door in my house, then you don't get a door anymore. Period. You just don't get a door. No more door for you. You don't know how to act. Bye door. You don't know how to act with a door. You don't get to have a door. Just that simple. Stuff like that is. I appreciate that. It doesn't always have to be whooping as the first, last, and only resort.
Should that be the last resort?
I think so. In most cases with older children, usually because they're older, they understand better. When they're little, sometimes it's like training I hate to say this, but it's like training an animal. I have a German Shepherd and he has a choke collar. He doesn't wear it all the time, only when he goes out and walks. Because he's learning to heel. So, and not to chase after everything that moves when you're walking him. So he's still a puppy. So it's like he runs and you yank. And it doesn't hurt him, but he knows he immediately sits now because he knows that doesn't feel good. So I don't want to do that. That's training, that's discipline. So when you have a little one and they can't really understand and process your words into logical thinking, then a pop on a 2 or 3 year old is okay because they don't understand. No, stop, don't do that, come here, and because you could get hurt and all the consequences for all your actions. They don't have time to process that, or we don't have time to explain that for them to process it in time. So pop them one time. Once they get older and they're able to more understand and process consequences, repercussions for your behavior, then after you've gone through this, if you have to go through it more than once or twice, then okay, go ahead. But I don't think that it should be the only thing, and I don't think that it has to be so extreme.
Okay. I understand that.
But it is after 7. We're gonna have to shut this down. We can go in the after lab.
Yes.
Though.
So I do appreciate everybody coming in. For those who are just now joining us,
somebody wants to jump into the love seat. Hang on for me. We're gonna bring you in the after lab, okay? Because I know we got something to say about this.
Okay. So So for the sake of the show, okay, we're gonna shut it off. But we do appreciate everybody's participation in the comments regarding this topic, because this is a very controversial topic. It's not one of those right or wrong. This is not a right or wrong topic, but we want you guys to continue to join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Living Your Purpose. We will have another topic, not maybe as controversial, but it will be a topic.
Not next week, I promise you. We're going to laugh and joke or something. We're going to have a party next week because I need to breathe.
So my name is SJ. from Inner Soul Development. That's my company. I'm a personal life coach, transformational speaker. What it is I make sure that you get off your routine, take you off course to your greater self, take you off that autopilot. Make sure that you understand that life is to be controlled. Life does not, should not, and will not control you as long as you know how to work life. And to my left of me, we have the beautiful and wonderful, talented
Danielle K. Anderson, also known as Danielle the VP. I'm an entrepreneur, interfaith minister, speaker, coach, spiritual counselor, and it's my purpose to help people to look good, feel good, find, and walk in their own purpose. Thank you all so much for joining us this week. This was an interesting. I told you it was going to be interesting. It was going to have some conversation. You notice we only had one person try to come in. I think they may have been trolling. Nobody wanted to get in the love seat this week.
Yeah.
Nobody until we get to the end. Okay, so, oh man, I've had to. Whew. Thank you all so much for joining us. If you are listening or watching on a replay on SoundCloud or YouTube, thank you so much. If you like what we had to say, please show us by hitting like, comment below, share it out to everybody where all the sharing is done. We are also on Facebook. Living Your Purpose Community is the group that you can join. We are on Twitter, Periscope here on Blab, and SoundCloud as LYP Broadcast. Our website is lypshow.com. Please do click connect and you can find it wherever we are and you can contact us directly. We really love hearing from you guys and we want to hear more from you guys. It helps us to know what you like so we can give you more of that. Or if we're missing something, you want to talk about something, let us know. Tweet us, email us. You can do all of that by going to lypshow.com, click connect, watch all of our shows. If you're new, you can connect to our archives on YouTube and SoundCloud, and we love to have you. So next week, Sunday, May 8th, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, please join us again.
Yes.
We'll see you next time. Those of you who are live, please do stick around for the after blab, okay? Love you, bye.
Oh, Instagram.
LYP Broadcast.
LYP Broadcast. And also make sure that you also subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes. Like, share, subscribe, do all of the things with the buttons and the clicking, okay? Yeah, all of that.
Peace.
All right, stick around for the After Blab. Love you guys. See you next week.